welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm making a Christmas card using these Hello Bluebird Rooftop Reindeer stamps. And I'll be entering my card creation into their contest. So Hello Bluebird is doing a color challenge, and this is the fourth one they've done, and it's for July. So if you make a card using the 4 colors, you can post it on Instagram with the hashtag that they give for the contest, and then all the participants will be put into a drawing to win a $50 gift card to their website. So the colors for this challenge is to use turquoise, pink, a bright green, kind of a lime green, and a bright yellow. And I think they put those in thinking those are kind of summery colors, but I think of them as kind of retro, so I'm also trying to get some Christmas cards done. To keep with the color theme, I'm stamping my sentiment, which says, Merry Christmas from our home to yours, with Stampin Up taken with Teal, and then I stamp a snowflake with Distress Ink Kitsch Flamingo, and then I stamp a Bluebird from another Hello Bluebird set with Distress Ink Salvage Patina. Now I do apologize, I went below the screen a little bit. I don't know if my camera moved or if I shifted the paper. I do apologize for that. Sometime I'm going to get me a better camera and hopefully have one of those setups where you can see a screen while you're making it, so you know if you went off screen. So I looked through my stash and I found this paper from My Mind's Eye, and it's from the Sugar Plum collection. It's really old, so I doubt it's out there anymore. But the colors had all 3 of them, and it also has deer in it. So this is perfect. It didn't really surprise me that I had something with these colors because I like these retro colors for Christmas. I cut the paper with my Lawn Fawn Stitch rectangle dies, and I also cut my white one that I'll be using in just a moment with the same. So if you don't have that, you can just cut rectangles. So this is just 5.5 by 4.25, and then the other one is cut down just a little bit so that it will show the border of this paper. I'm just gluing it on with my Nuvo Deluxe glue. Next, I emboss the sentiment onto the front of the card. So first of all, I go over the card with my embossing buddy, which is a powder, just to make sure that the embossing powder only sticks where I stamp. And then I use Picked Raspberry Distress Ink to stamp my sentiment, and it's a bright pink. And I'm using the sentiment from the Hello Bluebird stamp set that says, Sending Christmas cheer to friends so dear. And then it has the word deer spelt like the animal deer. And then when I heat emboss it, I use clear embossing powder. For the next step, I'm going to do some ink blending with Distress Ink to make my sky. So a lot of times when you look at the sky, it has different colors in it, depending on the sunset or sunrise. I don't know if this is a sunset or sunrise, but anyway, I figured that'd be the best way to get all these colors in. So I'm starting off with yellow. In this case, I'm using Scattered Straw, and then I use a lighter pink, which is Spun Sugar, and then I go to a darker pink, which is Kitsch Flamingo, and then finally I end with the turquoise one, which is Salvage Patina. I don't know why I forgot that. That's my favorite one that they have. Anyway, again, I got my camera off screen. I think I did this from the first time, and I guess I didn't check my camera in between steps. Also, I put down a mask from Gina K masking paper that I previously used on another card. It's just a hillside because I want to leave the bottom as snow, so of course I don't want the snow to be yellow and pink and turquoise. You can reuse masking. You can also use a Post-it note. Of course, then it would be flat, but you can use that to mask it off. That way you don't get ink where you want it to be white. This video is also part of a YouTube hop with the Christmas in July collab put on by Bug Scott from Mediocre Crafts. And she's doing it once a week on Sundays, and each week has a different theme. So if you want to join in, you just go to our Facebook page, Mediocre Crafts, and I will put a link to it in the description below. And just put whichever weeks you want to join. So next week, the theme is going to be gifts, and the last Sunday will be posh. This week, the theme is whimsical. So of course, these colors and stamps go really well with whimsical. I stamped 2 of the deer from the Hello Bluebird stamp set with Lawn Fundamentals Crunchy Leaf ink, and then I stamped the Bluebird from the stamp set called Snowball Fight with Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, and I cut them out with my brother's Scan and Cut. They also sell dies if you'd rather cut them out manually, or you can also fussy cut them. Then I'm just checking my book with all my swatches of my Copics to see what color to use, and I decided on Y15 for the yellow color, and I'm going to use that to color the beaks and the jingle bells. I checked my book again to decide on what color to use for the bright green, and I don't have a lot of green, but I decided to use the YG03 for the pom-pom on the hat and his brim. And usually I'll do lightest to darkest, but I thought that small spot I may not want more than one color, but then I decide to add an extra shade of green to the outside just to add a little bit more color. So I start with YG03 and then I add YG06 on the sides to give it a little bit more dimension. Now I check my book again to pick out the pink colors, and I decide on RV32 and RV34. So I start shading on the outside of the bird's belly with the darker color RV34, and then I do the inside with RV32. Then I also put RV32, which is the lighter color, on the deer's tongues because I'm trying to incorporate the pink and green as much as I can. When I blend, I go from darkest to lightest usually. Some people do it the opposite way. It doesn't matter, whatever works for you. And I also am trying to get the darker on the outside of the belly because that'll give it a more round appearance. Then I check my book again to pick out the colors for my turquoise, which I end up picking the ones I thought I would do anyway because they're my favorites, which is BG10, BG32, and BG13. And the weird thing is the BG32 is actually lighter than the 13. And while I was doing that, I decided I would make the collar kind of a turquoise color. I was going to do both, and I realized, I'll put a little pink on the other one. Maybe one's a boy or a girl. Or maybe not, because I'm a girl and turquoise is my favorite. Then I use the blues, greens for my bird, and I'm starting with my darkest color, which is BG13, and go where I think the darkest areas will be, and then blend it out with my BG32. And then finally add some BG10 to his hat. Next, I'm kind of experimenting with my deer because I don't think I've colored deer before, and of course making do with what colors I have. So someone else had posted like 3 different deers that they'd done with these, and put the colors for them, but I didn't have all the colors for any of the color combinations she did, so I just picked up my own color combination. Once I get enough markers and decide on a color combination I really like, I think I'm going to swatch them out too, like color it and then put what colors I did, so I'll have that for future reference. So I'm starting with E37 for my hooves, since that's what I think would be the darker part. For the main part of the body, I'm doing E35 and E33. I also try E31, but at one point then I didn't really like how it was not really blending. It seemed too light to me, so then I just changed to E33 and E35. Maybe if I kept up at it, the E31 would have worked, but I thought it was going to get oversaturated, and I really just didn't like the look of it. Now, the one thing that saved me is that I've been starting to replace some of my broad nibs with a bullet nib on these because I have mostly Copic sketch markers, which has a brush nib, which I do like for larger areas, and it goes on a lot smoother. But I like this little nib for coloring in small areas. Since I mostly do little critters for my cards, I like the control I have with the smaller nib. So I've been replacing those. So when I was doing this deer, I noticed several of my browns that I was using actually have already been replaced. So I was happy to see that. Now, if you do order replacement nibs, either because they're worn out or you want to use a different nib with your marker, make sure you get the one that's for yours. So in this case, they do have bullet nibs for a couple of different of their markers, but if you're getting it for the sketch, make sure it's for sketch. Now I also have a couple of the larger ones. I think I ordered them by mistake one time, but that's how I discovered I liked the nibs, because that one has the nibs, but they don't have the brush tip. So I think on those they have a brush nib where you can take out the wide one and put in a brush nib. It won't be quite as nice as the sketch markers, but it is sort of a brush nib. For the face and ear, I'm starting with the darker color E11, which is also a little bit pinkish, and blend that with E00. And I'm using that for his face and neck area as well as his ears. Then I just add some RV32 for some blush. Then I just use my lightest color E00 for his antlers and his spots. I just keep blending back and forth with my light and dark colors till I get it how I think it should be. Then I use a white gel pen to add detail to his eye, and I think that really made it set off. And the other deer I colored off screen since I did it with the same colors. I let my card panel dry while I was coloring, and my thought was I was going to do some embossing to emboss some snowflakes with turquoise embossing powder and some pink embossing powder, but I decided that would make it too busy and the snowflakes would be too big, so I decided to just splatter on some Kitsch Flamingo and Salvage Patina Distress ink. I attached my deer with some foam squares just to pop them up, and you could also do that with the card panel, but I didn't want to pop up both the panel and the deer because then I thought it would make it too thick. I'll put a list of all the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of those will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and that helps support my website and my YouTube channel. Some of the links will be just for your information because things like the Hello Bluebird, I don't have affiliate links to those, but I will list those so you can find them. I'm just using my blue-green pen to add some little marks where there would be hoof marks and also a shadow. So when you do that with snow or anything like that, you still want to use a color because things do make a shadow. So in this case, a lot of times blue or blue-green will work really well for snow because that still reads as cold. Then I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe glue to attach my panel to the front of my card. To add some detail and decoration as well as a little bit more whimsy, I'm taking my Cool Mint Stickles and adding that to the top of my snow line. And then I take some crystal stickles and add that to the snow because I didn't like it just being a stark white. And then I use my glossy accents and add that to the jingle bells because I figured those would be shiny. Now that was kind of hard to get out, so all I did is take a straight pen and stuck it through the top because it's kind of like glue, so sometimes it gets clogged up. As I mentioned, this is part of a YouTube hop, so I'll have a list of all the participants in the description below. Please hop along to the next person on the hop to get some more Christmas inspiration. And if you're not already a subscriber of their channels, we'd all appreciate it if you subscribe to our channels and also like the videos. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you did like my video, I'd appreciate it if you can give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.